Hi, I'm Brittany from ScribbleUp. We make apps. We make a reading suite of apps for each type of learning goal. And each of these can be used by a teacher as a supplement in a workstation or by an after-school. I've got this right here. But the key part of the apps we make is that kids learn by playing the apps. It's not just practice. It's not just assessment. It takes the fundamental pieces of sounds and letters, and through playing these puzzles, basically solving these puzzles, children learn. So let's look at why we're in this space. There are tons of literacy apps. Why are we in it now? Well, let's ask a question. Has EdTech fixed America's literacy problem? So What Works Clearinghouse has found that existing apps don't really work any better than printed worksheets. So we're basically just digitizing textbooks. Companies don't really understand what K-2 classrooms look like, how their workstations look, what Wi-Fi access they have. So teachers are underserved. And these expensive school investments aren't getting used by K through 2 or by after schools. So the line here is where proficient is. And this is how we've been doing in our 4th grade reading scores since 1992. This line has not changed much. We have not seen EdTech come in and fix our literacy problem. We aren't seeing progress here. And let's think about how that looks in terms of the numbers. How many kids are getting affected by this? 3 out of 5 4th graders are below proficient in reading. We can't accept this. So my first crack at this, I founded a tutoring program where we recruited, trained, and provided materials for tutors. Undergrad volunteers would come in and spend a lot of time every year, 2 hours a week with the same kid, working on early reading skills. Now you can imagine this was really labor intensive. Dozens of undergrad tutor coordinators, dozens of tutors, the logistics of coordinating with the after schools and the schools, much less providing enough curriculum and enough training as the year went on for each kid and each tutor. So I went back to the drawing board because while that's amazing and we need those volunteer organizations, what they need is someone to provide training and curriculum. So I went back to the drawing board, got my PhD in linguistics, really focused in on those letters and sounds and that sound awareness. And then I wanted to add another piece to the puzzle. What does EdTech look like in early primary education? So here's the result. This is a demo. Now I want you to clear your minds. You're an adult reader. That means you don't know what it feels like as a 6-year-old to not know that P is made by the P letter and how that looks. So watch this and think about if you were learning it from the ground up, how this would help. Can you go ahead and play it?
Pat. P. I.
So notice we're struggling a little with this vowel sound.
Mid.
D.
Pat.
P. I.
T. Pat.
I. I.
And it really encourages students to problem solve on their own and take agency over this.
Mid.
I.
You wouldn't believe it. This is all 6-year-olds need. This is enough. The stars, the trumpet, keeps them focused, keeps them engaged. They solved the puzzle. They feel really clever. So we work with on-level pre-K through 2, intervention K to 5, and English language learners. And they're puzzles to learn with. So as we've been talking about, this is teaching early reading from scratch. This isn't practice. This isn't assuming that they already know what sounds and letters, what sounds are corresponded with what letters make what sounds. They're not the same correspondence, which is frustrating. It teaches this from scratch. It doesn't assume those skills. And it's touchable, movable shapes that make sense. So shapes don't fit into each other if English doesn't allow that spelling. So you can actually learn from how the shapes are shaped, focus on sounds, and this really specific feedback that encourages problem solving and critical thinking. We've been working with summer camps. We ran an 8-week-long reading intensive with high school tutors that used the app and were able to work with students who were years behind in grade level and showed progress from it. We're also in workstations in kindergarten. This is a kindergarten classroom we're in. And we also do service work with Children's Museum. We did a service gig with them, prepping an exhibit prototype, working on sounds and letters. And what I like most about this is how flexible it is. This is pretty much the same app across these different contexts, and it's working in all of them. It's working with untrained high school tutors who've never done this before. It's working with an experienced teacher who's using it in a workstation. And it's working in a museum environment where it has the skin of the museum exhibit. And this is what we were hearing. This is some of the great things we're hearing about us. My favorite is that one, because that shows us the kids are learning from using this app. It makes my heart so happy to see this, because we don't teach that by saying, okay, the silent E goes with the long vowel. We don't want to teach that from the top down. That doesn't work on anybody. Kids, adults, doesn't work. What does work is giving them a chance to explore that. And so they're using this app, exploring it. These are 6-year-olds, learning this through using the app and playing with the puzzles and solving them, and then articulating to their teacher what they've learned, which is pretty cool. So I know I'm on the right track because of that, but also the teacher who gave these quotes is a tech skeptic. She's a kindergarten teacher who told me that she was going to stop using any tech in her classroom because it never worked, it wasn't helpful, it took too long, and kids weren't getting done what they needed to get done. She uses ScribbleUp twice a week. So I would love to continue this conversation, talk about possible collaborations, what you see in the phonics and early sounded letter space, what you see in learning games. And I invite you to join me at my demo. It's anytime from 4 to 5 today, and look forward to it.